Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our monthly Consensus Business Partner webinar. I'm really excited to have Gina Thagard joining us today. We're going to talk about one of my favorite applications, B1UP. It's a great utility that adds on and adds additional functionality to Business One. Gina, welcome. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Great, great. So happy to have everybody here. Um, I see a lot of familiar names on the attendees list, so hope everybody's doing well. And Gina, I mean, you've got some great experience with B1UP, especially with all the projects you're managing, being the head of project management office. I think you can really see the importance of B1UP and the benefits there. And what's some of your experience using it?
Uh, some of my experience using B1UP, I mean, I've been, as you know, a consultant for 10 years. After that, I worked on the customer side. So I've used B1UP, as a customer um, at a company, and then as a project manager here at Consensus. So I think it's great. It allows you to be so much more flexible with SAP Business One. It's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. So we're about to launch into the session, but today we're going to learn how to use some of the functions within B1UP to enhance the additional configurations and adjustments that you want to do. It gives you lots of tools for adding buttons and mass bulk updates and lots of features and functions. Everybody loves the golden arrows and things, and we could certainly do lots more things with B1UP. I'm excited to get started. We do have a little bit of housekeeping coming up here as far as what we need to do. So we want to make sure everybody's ready for our session. Uh, as we do, we want to make sure everybody's all set. There is a survey at the end. It's really important to take this survey. It's important for us. We want to get your feedback, positive, negative, things we could do better. These sessions are for you. We want them to be as productive and informational as possible. So your feedback's important to us. Please take the time to take the survey. We do look at these, and they're important to us. So thank you. As we're going forward, your microphone there will be muted. There is a question tab at the bottom of the Zoom meeting. You can ask your questions as we're going through the sessions. At the end of the session, we'll be able to review those in a Q&A session. And we're going to get started with our webinar right now. So thanks, everybody.
Good morning. My name is Gina Thagard, and I'm the head of PMO here at Consensus International, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite add-ons for SAP Business One, and that's the Boyum Usability Package. Those of us in the SAP Business One community commonly refer to this as B1UP for short, so throughout the presentation, that's how you'll hear me refer to this. So when I'm explaining to people what B1UP is, people who've never heard about it before, I like to say that it enhances SAP Business One. So we all know SAP on its own is a very powerful tool, but B1UP kind of works with it to take it to a whole new level. So if you think about how many times have you been working in SAP Business One and you thought, man, I wish I could just tweak this a little bit. I wish there was a button here. I wish this field was a different color, or I wish I could make a pop-up appear, when I enter certain criteria. The list goes on and on about the ways that you kind of wish that you could tweak SAP Business One. And we've all been there. We've all thought about that. How can we tweak things just a little bit? So B1UP can do these kinds of things and more. And it's so easy. There are so many neat features and functionalities. The best part is it allows people with many different levels of technical skill to take development into their own hands because it's so user-friendly. So that's my favorite part, because some of you may know I'm not super technical. So even somebody like me can come in here and, learn the ins and outs of B1UP and do, development stuff. So it's really nice to kind of be able to take that into your own hands. So, okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So since this presentation is meant to be kind of a short intro to B1UP and just to kind of show you what, some of the things that B1UP can do, I went ahead and set some stuff up for you ahead of time. So the first thing is the dashboard. I'm sharing my screen right now, and you can see the dashboard might look a little bit different from your dashboard. So this is one of the B1UP dashboards that I have activated right now. So there's a couple of windows that I've added, but for the most part, these are all the standard dashboards that you'll receive when you purchase B1UP. So this is the sales dashboard. There's different ones listed up here at the top. So you can click on like the finance one, and it'll bring up some of the finance, tools that are already set up. You have some of these things are interactive. So of course you guys know about the golden arrows. If you click on the golden arrow, it'll take you to that document number. Up in the customer receivable aging, if you double click on the customer name, then it'll take you to the business partner master data. So that's very helpful. The dashboards can be customized, and there's a little bit more flexibility that you have with the B1UP dashboards as opposed to the regular SAP Business One dashboards. So you can show the stats as like a percentage, or like if you wanted to see it as a pie graph, or pretty much any way you prefer. You can customize it to show it to you that way. Appearance wise, I find the B1UP dashboards to be a bit more aesthetically pleasing, and I love that you can select a different skin. So if you are one of those people who like a darker background, you can select a darker skin, so it'll be like kind of grayed out, so you're not looking at that that brighter background. So just a couple of things that I wanted to point out on the dashboards. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and click on this first customer, since this is going to bring us right to the business partner master data, and that's where I want to be. So in the business partner master data screen, I have a couple of things set up to show you guys. So probably a couple of things point out, or a couple of things, kind of pop out at you. And the first thing I'm betting is the American flag here. So this is a really cool feature. And this isn't a customization. This is actually just a feature available with B1UP. You just have to turn it on. So it takes it's the flag of the country on the default bill too. So I think I can scroll through here. They're mostly Americans, but here's one. I don't even know what that flag is actually. So like if we go to the addresses and look at the default bill to, so that is Slovakia's flag. So so yeah, the Slovakia flag comes up there. So just kind of a neat little feature that I really like. But yeah, so I'm going to close this and I'm going to go back to the Maxi Tech because I wanted to be in that business partner. Okay, so another thing that might pop out to you is the account balance. So the account balance here, I changed that field to show green. So this is actually done with a B1 validation with a SQL condition. So the condition is if the balance is positive, it will show in green. And then if it is negative or 0, it's going to show with a red background. So it's kind of a neat little way to make that pop out to you as you're scrolling through business partners, or it's kind of like the first thing that you see. So so yeah, it's kind of neat. Another thing that I have here is there's a validation that as soon as your cursor leaves the name field, it's going to capitalize all of the letters. So I'm going to scroll through here again to, okay, so here's one that I set this business partner up before I had that validation in place. So they're in capital and lowercase letters. So if I put my cursor in that field and then hit the tab, you can see now it changed all of the letters to capitals. So it's kind of a neat little way to keep your data kind of neat, especially if you have a lot of users entering business partners that, some of them prefer all caps, some of them don't even recognize lowercase from uppercase, and they're all kind of all over the place. And some people like an uppercase and then the rest of them lowercase. So it just kind of makes things standard, and it's a neat little feature. So you can also make it so if you leave the field, just the first letter of each word turns to capital. So that's kind of neat too. So go back to our business partner here. And the other thing you might notice here on the right hand side is I put a couple buttons. So these are called function buttons. So there's a couple things here. You'll notice on the right hand side of this invoice, there's a little arrow. And if I click on the arrow, there's invoice, order, and service call. So what that does is it'll open that document and it'll populate the business partner code with this business partner's code. So like if I click on service call, for example, it'll populate, or it'll open a service call and it'll populate the business partner code with MaxiTax business partner code. So it's kind of a neat little feature there, neat little shortcut. And so that, same thing with like if you do an order, it'll open up and populate with that business partner information. So again, just kind of a neat little shortcut here. So this is what we call, well, these are all function buttons, but the top one is what we call a multi-button. So that has, you can put multiple things under that. So that's why we call it a multi-button. So there's also another button here. That's the last 10 items. So this button, if I click on this, this will give me the last 10 items that appeared on an AR invoice with this business partner code. So I have it pulling item and service type. So that's why you see like this space here doesn't have an item code. This would be from a service type invoice. But yeah, this is the last 10 things that appeared on an AR invoice. So again, just kind of a neat little reference. You also have this last function button, invoice and credit memo. So what this one was created to do is when I click on that, if this customer had credit memos, there would be another line for credit memo. And then you can drop down. So like on invoice, you can drop down. So these are all of the invoices that have that business partner code on it. And of course, you guys know how the golden arrows work. You click on it and it'll populate, it'll pop up with that AR invoice. So again, just a neat little shortcut. And just to give you an idea, some of the things that you can do with B1UP, you can add buttons, have it do different things. If any of you guys are interested in any of these things, I'd be more than happy to share with you how I did that, the instructions on how to do that. Another thing that you have, I don't really have an example here, but just kind of to have in your head of something else that B1UP can do is you can actually create another tab if you want to. So if you have, let's say, a bunch of user-defined fields and you don't want your users to have to go to view user-defined field where it pops up that other screen on the right, you can actually go into the tab wizard and B1UP, and you can create a whole new tab and put all your UDFs there, move stuff to that tab. So it's really cool. It gives you a lot of flexibility with all the forms. If you forget how many customizations that you have on a certain form, which happens, it happens. Sometimes you get kind of crazy with the customizations and you're like, why is SAP behaving this way? And you want to have a list of all the customizations. You can right click on just in the blank area of the form and you have a couple of different options here. So there's one for B1 Usability Package and it opens up a whole menu. If we were going to talk about like how to do this stuff, I would get into, adding the B1 validation configuration, all that kind of stuff. But just kind of because we're short on time, if we click on the configuration overview, this just kind of in one place shows you of the different configurations that we have for the screen. So with the exception, like under the functions button, you have to click on the golden arrow to go to the buttons, and then it'll show you all the buttons that we have and like what is included when you click on the buttons. So that's kind of a neat little way to see all the stuff you have. And then the next form that I have some things set up for you guys is the sales order. So just to kind of take a shortcut here, if we go up to our multi button and we click on order and populate the sales order with all of my business partner information, you'll see a couple other things probably stand out to you. And the one thing is there's a couple fields that are in red. So again, you can color different fields. I like to color the things that are required because it can kind of get frustrating for the user. I know when they go to create a sales order and then it stops them and they say, hey, the customer reference number is a required field. So that's why I color things in red, just to kind of call attention to that. So with that being said, this is the customer reference field is colored red, but I also made it a required field as well. So before we can save anything to this, we would have to enter something in the customer reference field. So I'll populate that. I'm gonna go ahead and select the date here. Okay, so talk about these function buttons over here on the right hand side. There's this sales top items. So when I click on that, it brings up a list of all the top selling items. And if you know that the customer buys, top selling items, you can just put a check mark in them and add the quantity. So let's put a check mark here and put, 2, for example, and let's go ahead and sell, I don't know, like this item, sell 2 of these and hit select, and then it populates the sales order with the things that we had checked, the items that we had checked, and then the quantities that we had checked as well. So that's kind of a neat little feature that we added in here. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was I added a validation in here. So the validation is if a discount is larger than 10% on the line, it doesn't let that transaction go through. So the validation checks each line and it'll actually tell you which line is the problem. So like if I put a discount up here on this first line and then I hit add and view, I get a system message that this line has more than a 10% discount. It's not allowed. So it tells me that that is line 1. And then it also gives me the description of the item as well. So I hit OK, and you'll notice it didn't let the sales order go through. So I have the opportunity to go back in here and change the discount. So let's say I want to change the discount to only 10. So this is particularly helpful if you have salespeople who maybe give discounts that are more than they should be given, more than they're authorized to give. You can apply the validations to only certain users as well. So if you have, like a sales manager that you want to let them do a discount for more than 10%, so maybe if something escalates to them, then you can let that happen and then make it so the validation only applies to other users who don't have the authority to give more than a 10% discount. You can do that as well. So I changed that discount to be 10%, and then if I click add, you can see we got the green bar, operation completed successfully, and that went through. So you can also do validations to look by each line and then to not stop the transaction. So let's say you wanted to just kind of warn people like, hey, you hit save and you have a 12% discount here, you should go back and change it, but you want the transaction to still go through, then you can allow that as well. So it doesn't like have to stop it, or, you can just have like a message pop up. So those are the examples of the function buttons and validations that I had for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK to get out of there and take us back to the dashboard. And the next thing that I would like to show you guys is the Master Data Manager. So this is a really super helpful tool. It's very convenient and is an alternative to updating large amounts of data. So maybe you have to update large amounts of data either manually or you're going to have to use DTW. Some of you guys might know that I'm a huge fan of DTW. I love it, but I know that the error messages can be like you need to decode them and nobody has the code. So if you can avoid using DTW, especially if you don't use it all the time, hey, why not avoid it? So to get to the Master Data Manager, we click on Administration. It's going to be under Add-ons, B1 Usability Package, Module Configuration, and then there's an option here for Master Data Manager. So that one's kind of a long one to navigate to. But under Master Data Manager, you have a couple of other options. Sorry, I'm trying to make this menu a little bit bigger. So you have a bunch of different options. So what I'm going to go over with you guys today is the Business Partner Master Data update and then also the document update. So for the Business Partner, click on Business Partner Master Data Manager. So it takes a second to kind of populate, and the exercise that I had wanted to show you guys is in this scenario, we have a salesperson named Sophie Clogg and she's leaving the company, and Bill Levine is coming in and he's going to take over all of her accounts. So the scenario that I'm going to show you is going in, pulling up all the customers with Sophie Clogg's accounts, replacing them with Bill Levine. So you can click on Find as soon as you get into Business Partner Master Data, and it'll bring you up just a long list of all of the business partners that you have. So remember, a business partner is a customer, a lead, or a vendor. So I only want to see customers. So I'm going to click on the down arrow under the saved conditions, and I'm going to click on Customers and hit Find. So that kind of shortens the list a little bit. And then furthermore, I also want to see anybody with Sophie Clogg as their salesperson. So I'm going to click in here, and I had this kind of typed up beforehand, but so this is a SQL condition. So where OCRD is the table for business partners, so it's telling me where the card type is C, so that means customer, and that business partner table, the salesperson code is 3. And I know, again, because I looked this up beforehand, Sophie Clogg's her system number is 3. So that's why I had entered 3. So you do have to know, to be able to write conditions, you do have to know a little bit about SQL, but it's very easy. Again, I'm not a super technical person and I learned how to do it. I'm sure you guys can learn how to do it in like a half an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Find. And it is going to bring me up only the business partners where Sophie Clogg is the sales partner. Or I'm sorry, only where Sophie Clogg is the salesperson. So there are 2, and we're going to change these to Bill Levine. So to do that, I'm going to click on the General tab, and there's an option here for sales employee. I'm going to use the drop down, and I'm going to select Bill Levine, and we're just going to hit execute. Are you sure you want to update these 2 business partners? It can take several minutes, so probably not. That's a message that just always comes up, but it's like if you're going to update, 1,000 records, then it'll probably take a few minutes, but we'll go ahead and hit yes. And then it gives us our result. So it tells us that both of these were executed successfully. And I'm one of those people that whenever I update the master data, it's like I need to see it for myself. I don't know if anyone on the call here is like that as well, but I'm like that with DTW too. If I do an import, I need to check a couple because it's like, I don't know, I just need to see it with my own 2 eyes. So what I usually do is just select one of them from the list and click on the golden arrow. And there we go. The sales employee has been updated to Bill Levine. So I'm convinced that that worked. So you can kind of play with this a little bit. You can click on the different tabs and see all the things that you can, update. There's the payment terms, for example. And you can also, I'm going to update this SQL condition and take out the 3 to show you guys something. So I'll hit find. Okay. So this is again all customers. So you can also click in this little gray box here to unselect all of them. And then if you want to update something, let's say you want to update the payment terms and you have a list of the different business partner codes that you want to update, you can go in here and check like just the ones you want to update. And then, like put your new payment term in and then hit execute, and then it would only update the ones that you have selected. So that's an option too. Either way, I think this really saves a lot of time. This is a really, really neat tool. One time when I was learning Business One, somebody told me this tool is really slick. And so I like to say that as well. It's kind of a slick tool. So okay, so that's the Business Partner Master Data Manager. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here, and I'm going to continue to the Document Master Data Manager. So that is, again, same path. I'm not going to go over it, again, but it's administration, add-ons, B1 Usability Package, Module Configuration, Master Data Manager, and then Document Master Data Manager. So just this guy here. And in this exercise, or the scenario that I cooked up for you guys is that Sophie Clog, our salesperson that's leaving, she's leaving. We have some sales orders with her as the salesperson on them, and we want to change those to Bill Levine. So he's going to be managing them from now on. So this basically works the same way. It's just with documents. In the top left-hand side, you have this drop down for document type. So it starts with sales order, but you can see the list here. You can choose any document that you have in this list. I'm going to do sales order. So the condition is, and again, I kind of wrote this beforehand, so I cheated. I'm going to pop it in here. So this is where ORDR is the table for sales order. So where the sales order and then the SLP code is the field. So the field is SLP code on the sales order, where that equals 3. And remember, I had looked up Sophie Clog's system number and it was 3. So that's how I got that. So I'm going to click find, and it brings up all of these where the salesperson is 3. But you know what I forgot to do is I don't want all of them. I only want the open ones because I don't care about the closed ones. So I'm going to switch this to open and hit find. And then I'm going to pop in that SQL condition. Hit find again. Okay, so this is all open where the sales order is Sophie Clog. And then we are going to go to the sales employee here in the drop down. We're going to choose Bill Levine, and then we're going to hit execute. Yep, we're sure we want to update those 17 documents. So it's updating, and you can see at the bottom, like it tells you the number that it's at. So 6 of 17, 7 of 17, and then you can see when it's done, it'll have that little message saying which ones failed and which ones succeeded. And there we go. There's our update result. They're all successful, so that's good. And again, I always second guess the system. Just that's how I am. So click on the sales order, and I just want to double check that, yeah, Bill Levine is listed as a sales order, or I'm sorry, the sales employee. So I'm convinced. So that's it. That was an example of what you could use the Document Master Data Manager to update sales orders with. And again, you can kind of click through the tabs and see all the things that you can select here. But yep. So exit out of there. Just a couple of other things. Actually, just one other thing I wanted to go over with you. I know we're getting kind of close on time here. Another tool that you can use is, and you might never need this, but it's just something I wanted to point out under Tools, HANA SQL Conversion Tool. This lets you convert queries from SQL to HANA. And this is particularly helpful if you plan on migrating from SQL to HANA in the future, because whether you know this or not, but some of your queries will have to change because the language is slightly different between SQL and HANA. And this isn't 100% all the time, I will say that, but it gets you really close a lot of the time. And some are just spot on when you use this converter. So I did want to take a second and point this out too, because I know there are some of our business partners that I work with who are looking to change to HANA in the next, year or so, and this would save you some consulting hours. It just is included with B1UP. It's just going to be there. So it is also helpful too if you guys ever Google and find queries online, and maybe they're written in SQL, but you need it for HANA. So this, will convert it to you. So or we'll convert it to HANA. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. It's been very helpful to me. And that concludes all of the examples that I had planned out for you guys. Please let me know if there are any questions, or if there's anything I can go over again or clarify. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, Gina, all I have to say is like, wow, wow, wow. That's like, that was great. All the information in there as far as the customizable dashboards, the things you can do with additional buttons, and the multi-button for drop downs, the tabs on the business partner and item master cards and things you can do as well as the all the mass updates. There's just lots of things. It's really eye-opening for me as far as the potential you can go with B1UP in addition to just SAP Business One. So thank you for that presentation. That was great.
Absolutely. Thank you. And that's just like scratching the surface. There's so many more things you can do as well.
Sure. And
Thank
Clara
you.
Custodio's joined us, and Clara, it's
Hi.
very nice to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
You're leading the charge here with all of us, and we really appreciate you supporting all of this effort in the background.
Of course. Thank you so much. I'm just showing my face right now because I wanted to read some of the questions that we got from customers. So I thought it's going to be a little weird if I'm not also on camera. But thank you, first of all, thank you, Gina and Greg, for this webinar. It was very, very interesting, and the possibilities, like Gina mentioned, are endless with B1UP. So we hope that a lot of our customers take advantage of it, and some of the customers that already have this solution in place, maybe they got some ideas of new things they can do, and take advantage of that. So we can go to the questions, and we have a couple of them. So one of our customers is asking, how does licensing work for this add-on? And I'm not the right person to answer, so I'll leave that to you guys.
The licensing can be done by individual users and blocks of things, but it's important to remember with the licensing that you have in place with B1UP, whatever extensions you're doing on B1UP, and you want your fellow employees to be involved in those, that they also need to have a B1UP license. So it's really a good idea to try to keep them in sync with the amount of users that you have with SAP Business One, as well as the B1UP licensing, because you don't want to be writing something in B1UP and deploying it to people, and then they don't have B1UP and it's not working, and everybody gets frustrated and all that. So our best advice is to try to keep them at one-to-one if possible, or at least within the functional groups that you might be doing those enhancements in.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. So I think that answers the other question that I had here, which was saying, if I design a dashboard with B1UP, can I assign it to user groups like a layout, like a UI layout? That's what the question said. So what you're saying, Greg, is they will be able to assign dashboards to users only to those who have an active B1UP license?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
and there's certainly B1UP is a great tool, and as we move forward, there is one limitation we want to make sure we make sure everybody aware of. I know we're also heavily promoting the use of the web client, which is something we feel our customers should be adopting. But B1UP is not available currently to be used within the web client capabilities. So it's still certainly valuable tool within all the client install and things that we have going, but with the web client, there's no availability for B1UP right now.
Okay, so if a customer is also playing with web client dashboards, that will be what they have in the web client, and they can still use B1UP on the client version, but they will not be able to combine both.
Correct.
Okay.
That's true. So I know that's a little bit confusing. So if you have any questions with all of that, please get back to myself, Clara, or Gina with any of those questions. We'll do our best to set you in the right direction there.
Okay. Okay. So just for clarification, if all the users have a B1UP license, right? And then one of them is designing all these dashboards and these validations, can he then assign to user groups or to other users? Is that an easy process?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm actually not sure about user groups, but I know to users you can assign it to
Okay.
like individual users. I can find that out for you about
Okay.
the user groups.
Okay. Okay, perfect. We don't have any other questions right now, but maybe everybody's digesting all the possibilities. So if
Right.
anyone has any question, any follow-up question, please send it our way and we'll make sure to reach out. If this is something that you want to explore, what is possible for you and your company, reach out to your account manager at Consensus or to any of us, and we'll be very happy to sit with you and show you what the possibilities are for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you all for attending today. We really appreciate it. We know how busy you are. We've run over a little bit by a couple of minutes and we apologize for that. But this was a really good session. Gina, you did a great job. And I hope all of you can see the power of B1UP, utilize that and going forward. I wish you a good rest of your day. You know, we have an Easter weekend coming up. Have a great holiday and enjoy time with your family. Thank you all. Take care.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, you guys. Bye.
Thank you,
Have a good
Gina.
weekend.
Bye.
Thanks.